Hello and welcome to SLP Newsbeat. I'm Kirby Anna. SLP Newsbeat is dedicated to bringing you news from the St. Lucia Labour Party, its activities, its policies, information on its candidates as the party prepares for the next general elections. SLP Newsbeat will also bring you commentaries on political issues, historical notes, and other special features. Welcome once again to SLP Newsbeat for Monday, 3rd May 2021. The headlines. The St. Lucia Labour Party on Sunday showcased its young candidates for the upcoming elections in a virtual public meeting dubbed Putting Youth First. And now the details. The St. Lucia Labour Party held its first virtual public meeting for the year on Sunday evening, showcasing its youth candidates for the forthcoming general elections. The made-for-TV program titled Putting Youth First featured Wayne Gerard, the SLP candidate for Ancillary Canaries, Kenson Casimir, the SLP candidate for Grosley, and Jeremiah Norbert, the SLP candidate for Micoud North. They were joined by the former Youth Development and Sports Minister, the Dennery North MP, Sean Edward, and the political leader and leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre. The program was hosted by SLP Senator Lisa Jawahir, who says that it was being held to mark the end of the observance of April as Youth Month. In today's and subsequent programs, we will bring you excerpts from the Putting Youth First virtual meeting. But first, return to the observance of Labor Day on Saturday, 1st May, which was marked with a holiday in St. Lucia and in several other countries around the world. For the St. Lucia Labour Party, which was born out of the trade union movement in 1950, Labor Day is a significant event, and political leader Philip J. Pierre issued the following message.
May 1st, 2021 marks another celebration of International Workers' Day. While in recent times, the day has been observed as a mere holiday in St. Lucia, the St. Lucia Labour Party, once in government, will ensure that it will be a day of solidarity with the unions and working class. The significance of Labor Day must never be lost. In 1886, when scores of workers at Haymarket in the United States were massacred and their leaders were arrested and subsequently executed on trumped-up charges, their crime? Daring to stand up to fight for the 8-hour workday. They stood up to the end. The long days of back-breaking toil, often as much as 12 to 16 hours, which were enacted on them by the employees. They fought against that. Unfortunately today, some workers still have to endure these tenuous hours. The commemoration of this day has gained international significance since then. Importantly for us, it is also a day of special significance for societies like ours, where we rose up against the forced labor and barbarity of slavery and the abuses of indentureship. It is also very special to those who have struggled since then for the right to representation at the workplace, the right to collective bargaining, and the right to universal adult suffrage. Like so many working class and social democratic parties worldwide and in the region, we must continue today in the Labour Party to ensure that our working people are not marginalized and that their hard-won rights are protected, that these must be improved where necessary. We must continue to work with trade unions in all sectors to ensure that the standard of living of the working people are not compromised, that all the organizations of the workers and people are treated with respect and as equal partners in the development of our country, that our approach is always one of putting people first. It is only in this context that our mandate of bread, freedom, and justice will be fulfilled. Over the years, the legislative and other interventions which have sought to raise our people up have been that of no other party but the St. Lucia Labour Party. More recently, the Labour Act, better known as the Labour Code, was the undertaking of the Labour Party. In this election year, we rededicate ourselves to the ideals of Labour and the memory of past Labour leaders like Sir George F.L. Charles, Martin Jabatis, and others who went before us. This rededication must be our focus at this time, when the critical everyday life concerns of the hotel workers, the public servants, the farmers, the fishers, and the vendors are not prioritized in the government's mismanagement of the COVID crisis. Tens and millions of dollars borrowed funds are used in infrastructure projects designed to dazzle and to enrich the few, while the broad majority of the working people suffer. I pledge that when in government, the St. Lucia Labour Party will work to redress this imbalance and injustice. And as I said in my alternative budget address during the recent 2021 budget debates, our immediate priority will be to restructure the country's debt so as to stabilize the economy and gain the fiscal space required to provide income support to displaced workers and place more cash in the hands of those who need it. More than at any time in the 70-year history of our party, we must accomplish its mission of bread, freedom, and justice. Happy Labor Day to all St. Lucia. I thank you.
And now to Sunday's virtual public meeting, Putting Youth First. It was a national debut for the youngest candidate in the upcoming elections, Jeremiah Norbert, who is attempting to win the UWP stronghold of Micoud North. Norbert has grabbed national headlines for his courageous determination to serve the people of Micoud North despite losing his left leg in a motorcycle accident in February. The former police officer called on young people to turn away from crime, especially gun violence, and he proposed solutions to St. Lucia's rising youth crime rate and murders.
Political leader and the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia, fellow candidates, members of the National Executive, and to you, my constituents of Micoud North, good evening. I'd like to start off by saying how proud I am to be part of the St. Lucia Labour Party, a party which prides itself on the ideals of bread, freedom, and justice for all, a party which cares about the people of St. Lucia, and a party which will put the people of St. Lucia first. April is regarded as Youth Month, and as a young man, it brings me so much joy to know that I am part of a political party which truly cares about the young men and the young women in St. Lucia. This is a party who doesn't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk. This is a party which understands the invaluable contribution which young people have to make to the development of society. This is a party which understands the importance of youth-led organization in society. So in 1997, after we won the general election, the first thing we did was to pass the National Youth Council Recognition Bill and also provide a subvention to the National Youth Council. The St. Lucia Labour Party has a track record in youth development and providing opportunities for young persons. A national stadium and the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground are just a few examples of initiatives undertaken by this party geared towards youth development. This is a party which has a track record of giving young people opportunities to hold office at the highest level in the state. Many Serambali, Sean Edwards, Dr. Kennedy Anthony, and today, Kenson Kazmi, Lisa Jawai, and myself. Which other political party in St. Lucia can boast about putting young people first and providing them with opportunities at the highest level? The St. Lucia Labour Party has shown us that they understand the socio-economic hardship that young people face. And in an attempt to provide opportunity for all, they initiated the laptop program and the $500 bursary program to students entering secondary school. This is a party which truly cares about its young people and their development. Now, on to security. In recent years, we have seen a drastic increase in the number of homicides and criminal activity taking place in St. Lucia. When we take a closer look at who are the victims and perpetrators of these crimes, too many are our young people. This is very sad, and it does not augur well for our future. As a young man, and as one who has dedicated the past 10 years of my life to crime fighting and crime prevention, I developed a soft spot for assisting the young, the vulnerable, the marginalized, for they are the most likely to fall victims to crime. I think of myself, and I am thankful that I did not fall through the cracks, but not everyone is this fortunate. I have a younger brother who have not been so lucky and have fallen through the cracks on more than one occasion. This goes to show that crime affects all of us. We all have a brother, a sister, an uncle, an aunt, or some other relative who have been either a victim or a perpetrator of crime. The St. Lucia Labour Party believes that one homicide is one homicide too many. And despite knowing that crime will exist, a St. Lucia Labour Party will do all within its power to reduce crime to the lowest level possible. It was a sad day for us as a country when a young man, only 17 years old, was shot multiple times in Dennery. I would like to make a special appeal, a special call out to all St. Lucians, especially the young men, to put down the guns, stay away from drugs. Crime and violence is not the answer and can never be the answer to resolving conflicts. Let us channel this energy, this passion, this fire that we have burning inside of us into a positive sphere. Let us become young leaders, young entrepreneurs, young politicians, young farmers, and let us build our country together. The St. Lucia Labour Party knows that dealing with crime is not an easy task. We understand that crime is very complex and it comprises of both social and psychological circumstances. Hence, the St. Lucia Labour Party plans to tackle crime using a multi-sectoral approach. For too long, we have been living in a situation of social disorganization. The St. Lucia Labour Party will see to it that there is greater linkage and synergy between the probation department, the police, the schools, human services, and other relevant agencies. This type of synergy would allow us to implement preventative policies that meet and safeguard the varying needs of young persons. And we will ensure that young people are at the center of this, for we believe that youth intervention should be youth-led. We have to work with our young people and not just for them. Having mentioned the police, who are the gatekeepers of the criminal justice system, I would like to commend Sergeant Sylvina James, Sergeant Ted King, and Inspector Alex Morgan of the Community Relations Branch of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force for their unending efforts in providing positive support for young offenders. They have done a remarkable job amidst the lack of adequate resources and very little staff. The St. Lucia Labour Party will provide the necessary support to the police so that they can be aligned with the best practice approach in dealing with youthful offenders. The St. Lucia Labour Party will work with various agencies to provide support for parents and families, with the schools to help them build on anti-bullying initiatives, and with the communities to help address the conditions that give rise to antisocial behavior before they appear. This is a party which cares, a party which will put you first. To our young people, I say, your time is near. The St. Lucia Labour Party will put you first and will take care of you.
That was Jeremiah Norbert, the SLP candidate for Micoud North at Sunday's virtual public meeting. You're listening to SLP Newsbeat, a production of the St. Lucia Labour Party. In more news from the virtual public meeting, putting youth first, the SLP's Grosley candidate Kenson Casimir, who made his third appearance at a national public meeting, addressed the issue of an SLP sports policy for the youth.
Political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. First deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Honorable Ernest Hilaire. Second deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Honorable Sean Edward. People of St. Lucia, good evening. We are in the month of April, a month normally reserved for the celebration of young people in this island. It is a month where we can have discussion at the table about how we move the most populous age group in St. Lucia ahead. And what have we seen? We've seen a government devoid of ideas on how to engage our nation's youth. A government that has shown no inclination to ensure that young people are given a seat at the table. They say action speaks louder than words. And the fact that the St. Lucia Labour Party has given the likes of Jeremiah Norbert, Wayne Girard, and myself an opportunity to be at the highest level of decision-making in our country proves that the St. Lucia Labour Party genuinely cares about the voice of young people. The fact that the St. Lucia Labour Party has selected the likes of Senator Lisa Jawahir in the upper house proves that the St. Lucia Labour Party is by far the party most interested in the issues of young people. Young people are tired. They are sick and tired of older people telling them what they should be interested in. With the St. Lucia Labour Party, this comes to an end. In music and the arts, we do not need a government that will tell us how to produce our Dennery segment. We need Dennery segment to continue to thrive. As such, during our carnival season, St. Lucia should no longer just have a Soca Monarch final and a groovy Soca Monarch final, but we can include a Dennery segment Monarch every year. The likes of Freezy, Mighty, Servants, Big C, Black Boy, Umpa, Pablo, and the rest can certainly look forward to their crowning moment each year. On this one night, instead of having 20 artists performing in the final, 10 for Groovy and 10 for Power Soca, we can explore the possibility of having 21 finalists on the night. 7 Groovy, 7 Power, and 7 Dennery segment artists. The night can be aptly dubbed Three Kings. Of late, we have seen most of our local talented reggae artists gravitate towards Dennery segment. Whereas we would promote versatility, the likes of Kuya and Kelly B have been on the verge of developing a new genre of dancehall music that we can claim as our own. Similar to the rise of Trinidad music, we must encourage our dancehall artists to continue to strive to develop their own genre through the infusion of our local style with the dancehall beat. The likes of Lucity, Michael Robinson, Shemi J, and Imran Nudi, and others must be given just as much attention for their musical styles that may be considered for other Dennery Soca artists. In terms of sports, sports will not be on autopilot under the St. Lucia Labour Party. While ensuring we develop a better primary school and secondary school sports program, the aim will be to see secondary school sports from the quarterfinal to the final stage be played on weekends. Parents have been blamed for their poor attendance and support for the nation's young athletes. An exploratory committee for the development of school sports will seek to ensure that the popular intersect competition move into the time sport used by other developed Caribbean islands. But we cannot only focus on the traditional sports, and as such, the following can be looked into. Non-traditional sports season, and that would be between National Day, December 13th, to Independence Day, February 22nd. Yes, 3 months of activities and competitions from National Day to Independence Day. This period, the focus should be on non-traditional sporting events most enjoyed by our young people, including car racing, Moto X, cycling, BMX stunts competitions, skateboarding, and the list goes on. Now, that list of activities will be completed not by me, but by the young people of this country. In terms of the gaming industry, this can be viewed slightly differently. We want to ensure that adequate attention is given to young people in our communities who enjoy their video and board games. Ensuring that a well-run video game competition is instituted yearly will do just that. Other games such as chess players, the gamers such as the chess players, draft players, dominoes, and dart players will also be given an opportunity for all of St. Lucia to zoom in on their talents at the highest level. Sound clashes. Young people are into clean sounding music. An annual sound clash event, which can be moved to a different secluded location every year, can be explored. Along with sound emanating from vehicles, young people are also interested in altering vehicles to make them aesthetically pleasing. A car show can be developed to reward the best looking vehicles. In terms of health and fitness, the St. Lucia Labour Party will ensure that we further the cause of health and fitness enthusiasts in these communities. We will endeavor to use our young people to help fight the issues of diabetes and hypertension among elderly. As such, the SLP will explore training at least 10 persons per constituency in the area of health and fitness for the middle-aged to the elderly. These persons will be equipped with the capacity to give nutritional tips, hold the training sessions, and provide support for this age group in the fight against these diseases. These fitness trainers will be dispersed throughout communities where the facilities and spaces available can provide these classes to the middle-aged and the elderly. Fitness instructors can charge between $5 and $10 per person per session, which would pay instructors more than $4,000 per month. In terms of sports and the blue economy, St. Lucia is surrounded by water. I've said this before and I will say this again. We need to use our waters to develop our country in a more sustainable way, whether it be through an explosion of competitions on the waters or through creating employment for our young people on our shores. We certainly need to tap into our ocean to change and develop lives. We need an investment in jet skiing, kite surfing, windsurfing, sailing, triathlons, and so much more. The blue economy allows for employment of our young people in the yachting sector, whether it be through sail repairs or boat maintenance. It is high time a comprehensive educational course is made available in St. Lucia on the various maritime employment opportunities available to our young people along the coastlines of our beautiful island. We should be creating employment for our young people on our shores. For instance, in Grosley, I would love to see between 200 and 300 moorings placed on our waters near Bay Street that will allow yachts to dock right on our coast. At US $20 per mooring, a significant amount of money can be made for our community. Young people can be employed to restock yachts, provide ferries to and from, provide cleaning services, and so much more. We need to use what we have all around us to make it happen for our young people. Now, I'll be careful with the ideas and vision that the SLP has for our young people, because it is a lot, and it may be stolen by those who have lost their way in our governance. But I will speak a little bit on sports and facility development. The traditional sports in St. Lucia has always been better managed by the St. Lucia Labour Party. Fact. Football facilities, cricket facilities, lighting available at facilities, all better managed by the St. Lucia Labour Party, with zero requirement for cancer-threatening plastic blades of grass. Government's role is to provide proper facilities so associations can ensure the development of their respective sports. As such, it is about time for the introduction of proper playing areas for two quickly developing forms of football: futsal football and beach football. Futsal football. We have seen countries like Trinidad and Barbados take part and perform fairly well in regional and international competitions featuring this truncated form of football. It is time we provide a proper facility to ensure a full-fledged competition is held annually. Beach football. It is absolutely astounding that just a few years ago, St. Lucia made history by winning a global football youth event in beach football. Yet up to today, we have not seen a proper area designated for beach football in St. Lucia. We need to find a sport that can ensure that an annual competition is held for both men and women in football. Well, finally for tonight, I want to just say to our dancers, our musical artists, our producers, our painters, our poets, our playwrights, our sculptors, our theater artists, our people involved in stage preparation and more, that the St. Lucia Labour Party cares for you. For the first time in our nation's history, a political leader has announced a desire to fund a ministry of a youth economy. This ministry will have its own funding to provide the training, capacity building, and financing to take your talents and skills and turn them into business, and your hobbies and turn them into entrepreneurship. The St. Lucia Labour Party cares about our young people. Together, we will ensure that you develop to your full potential. It is about you, and the SLP will be putting you, our young people, first.
Kenson Casimir at the SLP's virtual public meeting Putting Youth First on Sunday evening. In commentary today, Moses Musa Jean-Baptiste, the Vieux-Fort North MP and chairman of the SLP, reflects on Labor Day and the St. Lucia Labour Party.
In St. Lucia, comrades, the St. Lucia Labour Party and its deceased leader, Sir George F.L. Charles, fought for workers' rights. And you know that Sir George Charles, even before the St. Lucia Labour Party was formed, Sir George F.L. Charles led the fight for a lunch hour, for better working conditions, for the right to paid leave. And you know, our comrade Sir George F.L. Charles and his colleagues, his comrades, the men and women who formed the Labour Party, fought for adult suffrage, where people gained the right to vote in 1951. And also you will recall the right for workers, the rights of workers and their right to be represented by trade unions. Indeed, comrades, it's a great day to remember. My comrades, I'm sure you will know that all of these developments were followed by leaders and other comrades in trade unions throughout the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, up to today. The Civil Service Association, the St. Lucia Teachers Union, the Siemens Union, and there are so many others. Some have come and gone, and some remain even today. The farmers and the fishers, they too attempted to solidify their movements throughout the years. And my brothers and sisters, many of our Labour Party comrades, some of you have toiled, have really worked hard, sweat and tears to ensure that workers receive their just, whether it be salaries or wages or whether it be conditions of work. Many of you have contributed to this fight, and some of you continue to work in this sugarcane field or banana field or whether it be office working conditions, whether it be firemen, firewomen, police, you name it. I am proud, comrades, to have been one of the leaders of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, and I joined so many of our other comrades who today, some of you are candidates, some of you are executive members of the Labour Party, and you continue to fight. I salute all of you, comrades. I salute all of those who are fighting for workers, fighting for the rights of workers. And I ask the Holy Spirit to continue to bless you, and let us remember all those who have gone, all those who have fought the good fight. Today is a day for reflection, comrades, and to remember that we must honor their memory, those who have gone, by continuing to fight so that workers in St. Lucia and St. Lucians in general get what we deserve, which is a St. Lucia which belongs to us. Today is May Day. And nous célébrons travailler, and nous célébrons tous ces sacrifices-là, chaque monde avant nous a fait. George Charles avec tout Ayel li, avec monde qui goumé avec lui, monde qui fait travail pour monde cette li si vote pour première fois. Avec nous savons Labour Party, c'est un partisan qui travaille wed pour travailler cette li si joindre en pain avec joindre manière pour yo ni déjeuner yo. Chaque monde pas connaître ces bagages ça là, mais nous ni pour faire monde connaître ça avec nous ni pour pointer aujourd'hui pour dire bay monde qui ka gourmet toujours. À ces trade union qui travaille avec travailler pour assurer qui travailler cette ici joindre ça yo vle. Nous ni un gouvernement alors qui veut tirer toute qualité bénéfice qui monde a joindre. Yo veut traiter nous à quoi dit nous pas cette lycéen. Avec ça c'est un temps aujourd'hui pour nous réfléchir avec pour dire bay c'est monde qui ka gourmet toujours. Avec changer ces monde qui aller devant nous. Aujourd'hui c'est jour travailler international avec moi ka souhaiter tout le monde bien, tout travailler avec tout gens qui ka gourmet pour travailler dans cette lycée toujours. Comme ça nous ka aujourd'hui nous ka célébrer, nous ka c'est un holiday mais à même là un point sérieux avec point petit temps pour catcher ces moun ça la couiller un monde qui a travaillé ou qui est chef de union comme ça avec Dio merci avec un jodi à couiller tout travailler monde qui a union qui a goumé by moun un couiller yo bon matin Dio merci en chay non moi c'est Moussa and Moses Jean-Baptiste and let's keep the struggle going. We owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to those who went before us. And we owe it to our children and to St. Lucians. To marry we nous, pli for. And fight the good fight. Oui, nous avons fait sacrifice. George Charles et tout ces monde ça fait un chay sacrifice. Ça qui pède travail ça et là les monde qui pède la vie. Là les monde qui pède famille. Qui a fait sacrifice. Dans les gens qui sont pauvres, qui ont fait sacrifice. Let us hold tight, comrades. Let us hold tight. Solidarity. Long live the workers of St. Lucia. Long live the leaders of our trade unions. Long live the comrades who are struggling with their leaders in the trade unions today. Long live the relatives of our former leaders, those who have gone, and those who have sacrificed all. Long live the St. Lucia Labour Party. Long live our leader, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, and all the leaders at all levels, constituency level, council, executive, the auxiliary organizations. Long live. Happy May Day, comrades. Happy May Day.
That was Moses Moussa Jean-Baptiste, the SLP chairman and Vieux-Fort North MP, reflecting on May Day, International Workers' Day. To end this edition of SLP Newsbeat, we recap the headlines. In May Day messages, both the SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre and the SLP chairman Moses Jean-Baptiste pledged the party's continued historic support for workers' rights and trade unions. SLP's candidate for Grosley, Kenson Casimir, outlines a clear sports policy for St. Lucia's youth. And this election's youngest candidate, 31-year-old Jeremiah Norbert, says too many young people are touched by violent crime as victims and perpetrators. Norbert wants to help channel the energies into positive pursuits. Thank you for listening, and join us again for our next edition of SLP Newsbeat. I am Kirby Allen.